Hey, I'm Matt with Meat Church. Let's smoke Magnum Loads. Another one of our tailgate videos for you guys. You guys know that we are known as the kings at tailgating, also the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys. And we're kind of almost running out of things to make. But years ago, I met a man named Leroy McMillin who became a good friend of mine. I met him probably 10 years ago at a Big Green Egg Festival, and he loved making this thing called Magnum Loads. And I described it as meat on meat on meat. But he always made them at all these festivals he went to. And I say that Leroy cooked for all the right reasons, which is cooking something cool to share with people, and honestly, that's what it's all about, way before social media was kind of a big thing. But Leroy passed away, sadly, a few weeks ago, and I reached out to his wife, Judy, and I said, hey, I would love to make a video honoring Leroy and what he meant to me, and she was excited about it, so here we are. And by the way, he made me this amazing meat church years and years and years ago. If you ever come to my barbecue supply shop, you can see this. We have it on display. No details left unturned here. He even made me a little holy cow that he was very proud of. Got a lot of barnyard animals over here. We got stained glass on the windows. We got a working bell up top, a little meat church sign. Had a little Big Green Egg out front because we met at an egg festival, so you guys can come check that out, and that's something I'll cherish forever. But let's jump into this. So Leroy, he was known in the Big Green Egg community as Spring Chicken. His wife is known as Spring Hen. They were from Spring, Texas, live in Louisiana. Well, when I met them, they were in Texas, but moved to Louisiana. Hadn't seen them in a long time, but excited to make this for you guys today. Hey, and we're going to use our brand new tailgating seasoning, so this just works for us. So let's jump in. What is it? Well, you're going to take a piece of sausage, and you can use any brand that you want. So this could be like any kind of, whatever type of smoked sausage that you desire. And then we're going to get some little smokies here. We can get some breakfast sausage and some bacon. And when I said meat on meat on meat, meat on meat on meat on meat, pretty much what it's going to be. All right, so you want to slice this sausage slightly smaller than the length of one of these little smokies because you want them to stick out. So I'm just going to make a couple here on camera for you. Then you want to take an apple core. I'll put a link below on where you can get this. Save that little snack. And why is it called a Magnum Load? Well, we're going to load them up here with these little smokies. And you're going to take basically what I would describe as just a typical patty of sausage. We cut these out of a log, and that's about what it takes to encase this. So you're going to wrap it around here completely, a lot like an armadillo egg. Kind of end up looking like little footballs here, so great at your tailgate. That wasn't enough meat, so we're going to wrap it in some bacon. All right, let's talk about seasoning. Great opportunity to talk to you about our latest seasoning, Hail Mary. This is something we are very excited about. My mission was to make the one seasoning you need on all tailgate items. So there's a lot of pork going on here. I definitely love this on pork. How does this compare to our other seasonings? I'd call it a little more rustic. It's got a little more pop to it. It's a little more savory than sweet. We have a lot of sweet offerings in our arsenal, so I thought I would go with something a little more rustic. You can get this on meatchurch.com if you live in Texas or Oklahoma. Due to NFL rules, not our rules, that's where we can market this product with the Dallas Cowboys. So you can get it there, and any retailer that's also in that area that is carrying it. So we're going to season this. I would go pretty liberal. Let it adhere. This stuff is great on ribs. We've put it on, honestly, just like all sorts of things so far. I said I love it on pork, but there's not a whole lot we haven't liked it on. I really like it in our smoked queso. Any sorts of little bites that we're doing, like jalapeno poppers, we love it on. So while that is adhering, I've got a few more that I've already made. The seasoning has already adhered on these, so we're going to set these out and we're going to talk about cooking. Let's talk about cooking. Today, to honor Leroy, we're going to cook these on a big green egg because that's how he created them and that's how he would want it. Y'all didn't know I had one of those? I got every grill and smoker known to man. This is the egg that I used on Barbecue Pitmasters back in 2014. My setup today is indirect. Leroy would grill these directly or do them indirect. So we're running about 325 degrees with lump charcoal. I've got hickory chunks throughout the charcoal, always chunks, not chips, and never wet them. Never wet your chunks or chips. You would never try to build a campfire out of a wet wood pile. People say they smolder longer. That's a dirty fire. You don't want that. So just layer throughout the charcoal. We've got the, I used to call it convector plate in the middle. I guess it's the convector now. So indirect setup, again, 325 degrees. Nothing magical about the temperature. You could go lower if you wanted these to be smokier. You could go hotter if you don't have enough time. But you know, you're cooking bacon here and I want to kind of cook it hot enough to where it stays on and nice and intact but doesn't screw it up. So let's throw these on. The key when cooking these is to cook them to 165 degrees internal temperature because you encase them in ground meat. That needs to go to 165. Depending on the size, probably going to be about 45 minutes. We just temp these and these are good to go. Man, they look beautiful. These are going to be good. Well, obviously we've got to let these cool off and I'm going to need to get something to drink. So we'll be right back to see how we did. Well, got myself a hand cramping cold Miller Lite, which pairs wonderfully with this epic creation. So I'm gonna cut this open here, and by the way, this is gonna go in our tailgate playlist. We have tons of tailgating recipes. Ready for this? Woo, look at that cross section, as my man Big Jake would say. Look at that. Meat on meat on meat on meat. Man, nobody's gonna argue with that. Here we go. I ain't mad at it. Ooh, so good. You know what I love about that? The breakfast sausage around it. Man, this works for a noon kickoff because it's like brunch and a bite right there. These would also be great sauce and like your favorite barbecue sauce if you want. I use the word hearty a lot, but anytime you're making something that's pure meat, I guess it could double as an entree. But this would go a long way. These are really easy to prepare. I would make these the night before a game. That way, when you go to the game, you've only got to cook them. I'm all about preparation in advance of a tailgate. Do all your work in advance. That way you can spend time hanging out with your friends and enjoying things. But this would go a really long way in getting people full at your tailgate. So I highly recommend these. Leroy, thanks for showing me how to make these a long time ago, Judy. I hope this is a good memory of Leroy. Oh, spring chicken. I love that guy. Anyway. Appreciate you letting me make this recipe. You guys like and subscribe if you like what we're doing. Your subscriptions are how we continue to do these weekly cooking shows. We'll see y'all next week.